Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Christy and I post lifestyle content here on my YouTube channel. And for today's video, I have a special guest. We figured out how to be able to record together, so I'm going to introduce my husband. Okay, he is super handsome, if I do say so myself. So Benji, you want to say hi to the peeps? Go ahead.
Hello, Has fam. I'm happy to be here with Christy today filming. Hopefully, I can keep looking at the camera and all goes well with the connectivity.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
It took like forever to figure this thing out. For some reason, once we start wanting to film, the connection just stops working and then the microphone stopped working. Whatever. We got it together right now. So hopefully it stays good for the rest of this video. But we're gonna be sharing with you guys some tips for a successful marriage through deployment. So this is geared towards military marriages, military families, but I think a lot of our tips will benefit all marriages. So I hope you stay tuned and keep watching this video. So we're gonna go like dive right in and go into tip number one. We believe that if you have a good-ish marriage before you deploy, it will help tremendously when you're deployed. If you don't have good communication or just a good foundation in general, when you're deployed, I feel like it just magnifies all those imperfections in your marriage because you have to do with just talking to each other. You can't hug your spouse, you can't kiss your spouse, you can't really, you're on different time zones. It's just a lot of things that could cause a lot of conflict. So if you already have a good marital foundation beforehand, I feel like it will help you so much during deployments. What do you think, baby?
Yeah, I agree. The foundation's the key. Just like, and you could use the analogy of building a house or anything like the Bible uses. With a strong foundation, everything else kind of blossoms.
Yeah.
And it's easier to get through hardships and things like deployments and stuff like that. Are you going to talk about the books that you recommend for
Yeah,
a strong
you can,
foundation?
yeah,
Or
you can share those, baby.
so some of the books that we have read through our marriage. We've been married 11 years next month, and some of the books that we read early on include the Five Love Languages. It's a
Yeah.
great book. It's often taught through military classes. Um, and in churches they have it quite often, different groups with five love languages.
Yeah.
um, and that's by Gary Chapman.
Yeah.
And then Sacred Marriage was another one we did.
Yeah. We like that one.
They're really good about building. It's explains boundaries and how to set up boundaries, not just so like boundaries for you and your wife. So that works
Yeah.
perfectly when you're deployed. Just certain boundaries you set up about communicating with the opposite sex, or
Yeah.
who your
Yeah, let's
friends
talk
are and
more
stuff
about
like
that,
that.
baby. Like, what boundaries do you recommend, guys that go over there to set up before, like, we talk about it, obviously, with each other before you deploy, but what are the things that you recommend, like, husbands to do while they're over there, like, in terms of setting boundaries?
Well,
Oh,
there's a
well.
lot. There's a lot of things you can do, but the key things is to discuss with your wife before you leave what you both agree on your boundaries should be.
Yeah.
So if you don't discuss it before you leave, then when you get over there, it's a lot harder because you can't. You're just it's not established.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just do basic things. So unless I'm at work, I really don't communicate with the opposite sex. There's really no reason to. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a warrant officer in the Army, so there is times when I need to talk to people for work related stuff. But outside of work, I really don't communicate with anybody. I mean, I go to church and all that, and if there's people in
Yeah.
church, of course, I'll greet them and stuff like that. But I just avoid women outside of work,
Yeah.
to be
And
honest.
that's the same thing with me here. I don't I go to church and everything and I help out a lot, but I don't talk to male people like more than I need to. You know what I mean? Like, I'll greet people at church and stuff, and people that I work with at church, but I don't like go on conversations with these people. I don't have their numbers at home. I don't text these, like, it's not a that kind of a relationship. I just choose not to do that because other people around me I might not be doing anything wrong, but other people around me might see that and think, oh, what's going on? I just don't ever want to put that out. Like, I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm messing around, basically. Okay?
And that's also where the five love languages comes into play, because um, other people's love language might be words of affirmation or something similar. And if you're giving them those, words of affirmation, just being kind, or that might come across them as something else, and it could lead on to something else. So I'm not rude to people. If someone says hi to me or something, or wants to discuss work stuff, then I'm fine with that. But I don't seek out the opposite sex to try to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, yeah. And then we put down here the love. Benji mentioned the love languages book, and I feel like you should read it during deployment as well, because I think your love language has to change during deployment. Like, Benji obviously likes physical touch. I do too, but I can't offer that to him because we're separated. We're not together, so we have to find other ways to fulfill those needs for our husbands and our wives. So I have told him, baby, I need you to tell me I look beautiful, even if I look like a freaking mess that day on FaceTime. I need him to tell me those things, because I don't want to hear from somebody else and then that be something I cling to. Same with him. He's told me, I want you to tell me that I'm sacrificing for you and how proud you are of me, things like that. So I have to make sure to fill his love tank in that way, because right now we cannot do anything physical to hug each other, kiss each other. We have to figure out other ways to do that. So we highly recommend that book. This deployment, we didn't read it again. I feel like we should have, but we have read it a couple of times in the past. But I feel like I would highly recommend all couples to do that. Learning to say what's on your mind, and I'm talking to myself because literally I am so passive aggressive, and mostly I feel like Benji should read my mind. Okay, if I'm upset, he should know why I'm upset. Okay, but it's just not real. That's lies, obviously. I need to be able to communicate with him exactly what's on my mind. If he says something or does something, I need to be able to tell him, you know what, baby, that really hurt my feelings, or that made me really upset, or whatever. Because honestly, I don't think he realizes half the time that certain things hurt me or whatever, because he's not meaning to. He just says, whatever, and then I take it the wrong way.
Can I jump in there for a second?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that also, not physically being there, I can't, a lot of times if we're just talking on voice, I can't see Christy's emotions, or I can't see her face, and she can't see my face. And she doesn't know the way I might be saying something, because your facial expression says a lot when you're talking to somebody.
Yes.
So I was just going to say that, communication in all aspects of all relationships is a foundation of, relationships. If you don't communicate with somebody, obviously you're not going to know about them. You're not going to learn about them. And then also, me thinking something is different when I say it. When I say it, like if Christy asked me how my day went or something, when I actually say it, it makes it more real to myself, and it like clarifies what I'm saying. So instead of just thinking something in my mind, actually putting it in words makes it more real. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah. Also, what I was gonna jump right behind you on the not seeing each other. So when we're talking via text, FaceTime, or just talking on the phone, like you said, a lot of times things could be miscommunicated or misinterpreted. Like, he might have just said it normal, but in my mind, his way of like his tone and all that sounded off to me, and then that might have made me upset, And honestly, I feel like you can avoid a lot of conflict like this if he says something to me that hurts my heart, or maybe he said it the wrong way, and I ask him at that moment, like, baby, that really hurt me, or did you really mean this? And then he can fix it right away, and then we can just move on. But most of the time what happens is I'll keep it to myself, and like in my mind I'm like thinking about this throughout the day, and he's already not thinking about it because he didn't mean to say it in a hurtful way, but I took it that way, and then I hold on to that for a long time, and then that affects our relationship. So at the end of the day, just talk to each other, like say what's on your mind, and if something you miss, it's miscommunication, misinterpretation, like talk about it in that time so that it can be fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, communication, man, for real. Like, because honestly, that's all you have to go off of with deployments. You're not gonna go on dates. You're not gonna go together. You know, it's all about communication. Like, that's what you have to work on.
Also, when you get to talk to each other, sometimes it's very short. You know, it's important that we talk to each other every day, and we try to do FaceTime every day. But there's times where I might be training, or something might be going on that we can only talk for a small, a few minutes. Communication, it's so important. The relationship is built on that, especially when you're deployed and you don't get to see each other physically. So the time is not often, you don't always have a lot of time to talk to each other. So you got to make sure you put out the words, and you want them to be clear, concise, and to come across the right way, because you don't want, your spouse thinking something all day long, or, creating something that's not really there. So.
Yeah, so just putting our relationship on priority, because I feel like mostly you guys have time, unless you're like, special forces or something crazy like that. You have time to contact your spouse, even if it's for 5 minutes, because sometimes I look forward to Benji's calling. Like, I know around the times that he's gonna call me, and I'll stay up late if I have to hear him, because it just makes my day better. I sleep better knowing he's okay, and just hearing him, because I love him, man. I want to hear my man's voice.
I've been deployed in a lot of different locations across the Middle East, and all of them have internet access. Like, there's no reason why you can't talk to your spouse. I mean, there's really no excuse. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Let's go on to tip number 3. If you see a little visitor coming up in here, it's my kid. We're trying to do this and the kids aren't home. It's a Saturday. So, okay. Next, tip number 3. Me and Benji have done this throughout deployments, but I feel like this deployment we really stuck to it, because a lot of times you can kind of not want to do that, because I'm not a reader per se. I don't really like to read books that much. Baby, do you like to read books? Because I don't like to read books.
I like to collect books and say I'm going to read them.
Yeah, for real.
And then not actually read them.
Yeah. So this time Benji found this app. Baby, you want to tell him about that? The Bible app?
Yeah, well, it's the Bible app. I think that's what it's called, the Bible.
I don't know. Yeah.
And I think it's YouVersion, I think, is the name of the brand or something. And they have Bible plans on there. They have Bibles that you can download offline and all that. But the Bible plans, when you join the app, you enter your email, password, and all that, and it's free, of course. When you join the app, you can send the Bible plan to a friend. So I'll tag Christy in it through the app, and then it comes up on her end saying, "Hey, this friend wants to do this app with you." So
it's like a Bible study app. So it's a Bible study.
And some of them are like little videos or a little
like
audio recording that you listen to, and then you discuss stuff. And what's cool about it is once you complete for your day, it sends to your friend that you completed it. So it kind of keeps you accountable with each other. Motivates you.
And it has a comment section, like you can discuss what you just read with each other. So me and Benji have been doing a lot of like marriage ones, and I feel like it's made us closer. Do you think that, baby?
Yeah, it's definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, I think I can write more. Like, I like to write better. Sometimes I feel like I can write what I'm thinking easier than when I say it. I don't know if that makes sense, but literally I can't speak, so there you go.
That's another form of communication that's acceptable, writing letters to to each other,
Yes.
kind of like that.
Yes, you just read. There, I would suggest like the love languages. If you haven't read it and you're currently deployed, read that book together and then discuss it.
Also,
Go ahead, baby.
I was just thinking, they have love languages for kids too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
your kids have love languages also, of course, because they're people. But
They're people.
so that's a good one if you have kids, to read over that one too, so you can express the love that your child needs, especially during deployments. 'Cause
Yeah. We'll have to
that's
do
a whole nother
that's
a whole nother video
For
series
all right.
on how deployments affect the family.
The fam. Finding an accountability partner, another person, or a group of people. I feel like it's personally for me. I'm not a people person. I don't really talk to people. But I do talk to like my family, and then here I'm lucky that I have my sister here. She's stationed. Her husband's military as well, so they're stationed here where we are. So I have her as well. But baby, what do you suggest for somebody that's overseas?
So this is going to be hard for guys in general, just because we don't like to talk or express feelings. You know, we could sit in a room for hours and never bring up anything about what we're thinking.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be like we're talking about football or something. No.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just having the relationship with your spouse, I think, is the most important. But finding a church,
Yeah.
pretty much every deployment has some type of service nearby that you can attend. So getting plugged into a church and just feeling that community and feeling welcomed and feeling like you're part of something, I think helps out.
And you said before, like, hanging out with like-minded people. Like, don't be hanging out. Like, if you're not a drinker, don't hang out with drinkers. Or if you're not a single person, maybe not hang out with single people. You know, because that could kind of put you in the wrong.
But then you just have the boundaries come into play a lot when it comes to interacting with people. So in a church setting, once again, I'm okay with that. But outside of that, if I go to the movies or something, sometimes they have movie theaters on base.
Yeah.
The nicer ones. It might be with a guy from work or something,
Or alone,
or alone. Most of the time it's alone.
Yeah, better be alone, brother. Okay. Ultimately putting your marriage as a priority, putting your marriage first. So I feel like I'll just say real quick, baby, and then you can go. I feel like through all the deployments that we've been through, we really take that time to like better our marriage. I know that it's either make it or break it. The military is set up really for our marriages not to thrive. But if we put our marriage first, even through being apart and everything, you're only going to come out stronger. I feel like the deployments really are good at magnifying the things that need help in your marriage, and that's a perfect opportunity to really fix it or like make it better. Okay, so in all of our deployments, I feel like we've grown differently. This one was really awesome, right? And I feel like I'm so excited for Benji to come because we've gotten so much closer than previous ones. A lot of things have been brought to light, and we've fixed so many things, and it just makes us so excited, right? And then this is also the first deployment that all my kids are at school. I'm not changing any diapers. I'm not up at night with them really a lot. I mean, Benji has left when my babies were like just born. So I was doing all that by myself, and I didn't have nobody else to like, tap in. Like, it's your turn. No, I did it all by myself. So this is the first time I'm not potty training anybody. It's awesome. I feel like I've learned so much about myself and grown as a person. And I'm so excited to have Benji come and just help me grow even more, you know what I mean? So I feel like you have to really look at your marriage and see where you can fix things, because nobody's marriage is perfect. You're never going to get to a place in your marriage that it's going to be always happy. There's always going to be issues, right? So I recommend that. And also, you will see real quickly what your husband has been doing for you, or your wife has been doing for you. Like, whenever Benji leaves, I realize the things that he was doing around the house that I never gave him credit for. And then once he leaves, I'm like, dang it, man. Like, now I gotta take out the trash. I gotta look at that freaking water thing meter and find snakes up in there. I have to cut grass. And when he was home, I wasn't like, oh, baby, thank you so much. Because that's what he did. I didn't, thank him or appreciate it. And then once he's gone, I'm like, dang it, baby, you did so much for me and I didn't give you the credit for it, and I apologize. And I'm so grateful that when you're coming home, I don't have to do any of that crap no more. So always, I feel like really you have to look at deployment not as something sad, but as a positive. What do you think, baby?
Yeah, and that's the key. And like you said, you have to choose that you're gonna, choose your marriage. If you're married, choose your marriage. If you're not married, choose goals or something for yourself while you're deployed.
Yeah.
It's easy to waste time on a deployment, or you can, do things productive.
Yes.
It's very easy just to sit in your room, watch movies, get fat. I mean, that happens to a lot of people.
It does.
Believe it or not.
It does.
And then there's also people who go out, exercise every day. It helps you relieve stress. It clears your mind. You can eat healthy. There is plenty of healthy stuff to eat. And just be productive. So being productive and is what I try to do. I try to stay out of my room as much as possible. Try to stay in the gym a lot.
Yes, he does.
Do a lot of exercising. And then just the deployments allow you to reflect. Like Christy said, you get to reflect on your life. You get to reflect on how your time was spent when you were home with your kids and with your wife, and your priorities. You start to really think about your priorities in life. Like, am I spending too much time with, video games or with my car? Maybe I should be spending that time with my kids instead.
Yeah.
When I get home, it's just like,
Fresh start.
Like meeting my wife again for the first time. And it's really exciting.
Yes. I agree.
Build up to it and all that.
But I feel like it's exciting for the people that really put the work in, because it could be dreading for some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, I mean,
if you weren't very...
Yeah, go ahead, baby.
It could be dreading. No, I'm not going to go into it.
Yeah, like, we don't want this to be negative, but yeah, it could be really a sad... I feel like if you don't work on it, your marriage is just going to fall apart. Like, you can't expect it to be... to not put work into it just because you're not physically there with each other. I feel like you need to double your work when they're not there. Like, really put it into priority, because it's so easy to kind of just be a hi bye, how was your day, real quick, and then just that's it. But I feel like, baby, that we really try to make each other laugh and like really talk about things, because that's all we have, man. When you're gone, that's all we have. So that's one thing I appreciate about Benji, that he always calls me, and I don't think he makes it an intentional thing, like I'm gonna make Christy laugh today, but he makes me laugh all the time. And sometimes those are the only laughs I'm gonna have that day, and I really appreciate that he does that. That we've decided our marriage is the most important thing to us, because guess what, the military, you're gonna get out, okay? Your kids are gonna grow up. You're gonna be with that one person forever. Like, you want it to be something amazing. You want to put work into it. That's what the ultimate goal is, right? You want to get old together. You want to travel the world, and it takes work. It takes a lot of marriage in general. It takes a lot of work. So, I love you, baby.
I love you too, baby.
Planning a special date or a special getaway before, like, while you're deployed, like talking about something that you guys want to do special when you guys come, when the service member comes back, when you guys reunite. We have not always been like this, I feel like, right, baby? That's something that we put on our goals list for this year, is to date each other more. We've always put our kids first, and mostly we don't trust people, okay? Like, it's hard for us to like leave our kids anywhere, and obviously we don't leave our kids, and we have family, but even still, we're just really picky. Look at this girl over here. So I encourage you to get excited about something that you want to do together, and it doesn't have to be expensive, but make it something different than you're used to, right, babe?
And a lot of times on deployments, you're you're not paying taxes and all that, so you're getting,
Yeah.
you can have the ability to save some money, so you
Yeah.
can set some money aside for something special like that when you get back. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So we're so excited that you guys had stayed through this whole video. Hopefully you did. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It was so much fun to have Benji on the video with me. Hopefully this freaking works out, because
Yeah.
who knows? But it was so awesome to have his perspective in on this as well, because obviously it's about marriage and we're married, so it would be better that he's in this video. But I'm so pumped up for him to get home soon, and then we can do a lot more of these kinds of videos like together. But if you have any video ideas for us, like topics or something that you want us to cover, put it down in the comments below, and then we'll get to working on them. Baby, thank you for joining me on my platform.
Of course, baby. I'd like to talk more.
Yeah.
And it's late here, so I'm trying not to be super loud and obnoxious, because I can be loud and obnoxious sometimes.
Well, that's true. That is true. I
but-
can be too.
But yeah, I had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and more to come when I come back.
Yes, and please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, click that red subscribe button and
big-
become part of the Hasbam.
Like,
But
big thumbs.
yeah, like a big thumbs up. I don't know if they can make it any bigger
A
than
big
just good.
toe thumbs up.
Okay. But we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.